So, Mark, did you see that Barry Manilow mural going up on the side of Westgate? We covered, what, a week or two ago that Luxor was putting in the giant Dorito, and Westgate matched with something kind of classy for their headliner, Barry Manilow.
I mean, it's something. I don't know what's with painting, big things on the side of buildings, but at least it ties in versus just a money grab with Doritos. At least it's something they're promoting something that they have inside. We've talked about them having the cool suites and everything. So it's good to see them continue to update and revive this property that is kind of overlooked and nobody really ever talks about. So cool to see, and it should draw people's eyes as they're riding the tram or whatever they're doing in and around Vegas.
Missed opportunity, though. Which snack brand should they have partnered with to gussy up the side of the building?
I don't know, chili cheese Fritos? I don't know.
So, Mark, the Golden Gate has reopened. The oldest hotel in Las Vegas closed for 5 days for renovations. Makes sense. Sometimes buildings need to go down. And they came back with their annual celebration of the Santa's Little Helpers. Now, this is a very interesting contest, very old school Las Vegas, maybe, where you have a group of ladies dressing up like Santa, and they're trying to get all the tokens from customers. People, the more they gamble, they get tokens to give to them. And whichever contestant has the most tokens at the end of the night wins a cash prize. Seems like a great time.
Yeah, I would say maybe Mrs. Claus, not Santa. So it's such a crazy contest. This feels like a 90s Vegas type of contest where just girls wearing little dresses. I don't know what we can say here and not get in trouble. So I'm going to say congrats to the winners. But it seems like the players win tokens and then give them to whoever they, like the best or whoever flirts with them the most. I don't know how it works. Probably one of the better places to gamble if you're into all that. I'm going to say I wouldn't go because my wife might watch this, but I think it'd be a good time. And it seems like everybody had fun. And, I think 3 or 4 girls won. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the fun part about it was that anybody who dressed up in holiday gear for the reopening, I think it was from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Prohibition Bar, they got free drinks. So this was a great little holiday party that they did. The Golden Gate now reopened. Hopefully it got some love. I don't know what you can do in 5 days to kind of overhaul a property.
Yeah, I don't know what you do in 5 days. I mean, it doesn't look like new carpet you could go in 5 days. I don't know, just cleaning, a deep clean, updating, maybe painting some areas, touch up, doing all the maintenance that gets overlooked throughout the year. Hopefully they did that to the rooms. I'm sure they get pretty beat up, and maybe, steam some stuff, some furniture, bring out the black lights and see what you find and go from there. I don't know. I feel like I'd want to keep the token and not give it to any girls and just take it as a keepsake.
I feel like you'd just be stalking Derek Stevens the whole time, trying to chat him up so you wouldn't be participating at all.
I wouldn't even look.
So speaking of hotels that maybe need a renovation, I don't know, Tropicana is back in the news. There was a picture that showed that they have shut off the bungalows, and those are the oldest hotel rooms on the Strip, and I had planned to stay there before they closed. So I did check their website, and you can still see the bungalows on their website, but it looks like the whole section of the property is closed. So hopefully they're not gone for good, but if you do get a chance to stay at one, do it again, because yeah, they're going away and maybe gone forever. The oldest hotel rooms on the Strip.
Yeah, that'd be pretty lame if they just shut them down and didn't say anything. Like, you think you'd want it just from a marketing push to make money. You think you'd be like, hey, we're closing the bungalows on this date. Stay in the oldest room in Vegas one last time. If they don't do that, then somebody who works there should be fired. It's pretty stupid. But I feel like a lot of people would want to do that. History buffs, people that love the property. So hopefully they open them back up. I mean, you could probably charge double what you normally charge if you do it that way and you market it that way. I think it'd be foolish not to. So hopefully it's just closed for whatever reason, maybe a pipe burst or something. It's Vegas, there's got to be a leak somewhere.
Yeah, there probably isn't a lot of maintenance going on in the building either, as they know it's going to get torn down. One other interesting thing surfaced that got deleted was this video on YouTube that surfaced of their renovated rooms. Apparently before all of the stadium stuff, Tropicana had some mocked up renovated rooms for the towers. I got to see them. They looked basically like a modern iteration of them. The video was taken down before I was able to save it, so I can't share it. And I don't have a greatest memory of what was on it, but it wasn't life-changing or anything. But it was a different direction, an alternate reality, suppose, of what could have been.
I'm sure there's some people that wish that would have been, but I think the outside is really what desperately needs attention. Just looking at some of the windows from the outside and the facade, it's so beat up, and I don't know that they would have ever been able to put enough money to make a dent in that and have it make financial sense with the way the property is now. But hopefully something cool comes. I feel like it's still going to be years and years. The A's are going to take their time building this thing, and who knows what's going to come of it on the Valley side of things, the ownership side. What they put there, there's still going to be a lot of fighting and all that stuff, and regulations and inspections. So just closing down the rooms this early would be kind of weird, I think.
Agreed. So we'll keep an eye on it, but long live the bungalow rooms. They used to be a staple at every casino in Las Vegas, and these are really the last ones left. So, well, I guess there are a few at other places. I guess San Remo.
Oyo.
Yeah. See, I said San Remo. I went OG on you with the bungalows there. So New Year's Eve apparently is going to be one of those dates that people want to get married because it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and people seem to love those dates apparently in Las Vegas. So they are expecting an uptick in New Year's Eve weddings. Usually there's like 400 or 500 people that get married on New Year's Eve, so we'll see what happens. A fun fact in this article, they said the single most busy day for marriages was July 7th, 2007, so 777 at 4,492 couples. I guess it makes perfect sense, 777.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to remember your date then, at least. It's good for all the guys out there or women that have bad memories. At least you'd be, 777, that's when we got married. But I don't know, do you want to get married with 5,000 other people on the same day at the same time? I can't even imagine what those wedding chapels are like, just lines out the door, quickly going through them, drive-throughs, all that stuff. It'd be kind of crazy.
That's all part of the Vegas experience. That's what you come here for, to have that shared experience, to come back on your 10th anniversary. How many people do you think come back on like notable anniversaries and celebrate, and then they find other people who were married the same weekend in Vegas?
I don't know. How many make it 10 years? Not so many these days.
True, very true. We wish everybody the best. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. People must just really like look at the calendar to try to find dates. Because I remember when we had those like 777, 888. For a while we had in the early aughts, we had those all the time. And then they said they would run out. But it seems like we never run out of them. There's always more to find.
Yeah, I mean, people that love doing stuff like that, it's something, a bit off the wall, a bit niche, have a little fun with it. It's good to see another one come back, and who knows how long. I'm not going to sit and figure it out on a calendar. I tried to do it, but we edited it out, and it was pretty rough.
All right, so let's talk about something that's not rough, and that's winning $1 million. A YouTuber did it. Raja from the Big Jackpot. That's one of the bigger slot channels. I think he has almost 500,000 subscribers. So this guy does big bets. It's a big channel, and he was betting $250 a spin on, I think, Dragon Link, and he hit all of the coins in the bonus, got the grand jackpot, over $1 million. The cool thing is that you can see this whole jackpot on YouTube, so I'll link to his video in the description. It's not every day you get to see the full video of $1 million win.
Yeah, and it's really cool that he was live streaming it, so it looks like quite a few viewers came out and were watching, just like before they knew there was a jackpot, and were there to celebrate it with him. So I can't imagine ever doing a $250 slot pull. It just seems crazy to me that so much money on one spin of the wheels, that's just so random. Like 250 on craps or blackjack, where you have a little bit of say in how things go. I know it's still some chance and variance in there, but just pulling that one time. But I guess if you're a big YouTube slot channel, you got to go big or go home, right?
Welcome to the world of YouTube slots. This is pretty par for the course on these big channels. And I think he was doing $50 bets at some points during the video, $100 bets, then up to $250. And like I said, I think the most exciting part is that you get to actually see it, thanks to social media, thanks to him filming it, and we get to share in that $1 million jackpot. It's crazy. These are very rare. They're a wide area progressive. You get very close all the time, but you never get them. And I don't care. On a $250 bet, you win $1 million. It's still a great, great win.
So good thing that he was doing the bet you need to do to trigger it. And, as we've talked in the past, you got to sit there and wait for the company to come in, since it's, paid for by the machine instead of by the actual property. So that's kind of a unique thing. And then you got to worry about the whole tipping thing. And, we were talking before the show, I'm like, do you give the followers like each $100 that were standing there as good luck charms, or take them out to dinner, or what do you do? What would you do?
I don't know. I think that it depends on like how close he is. There was a lot of people there, so I guess it could get pretty uncomfortable pretty quickly. I don't know. He seemed to handle it well. These slot channels seem to do a great job of the community aspect of slots, which you don't always see, but there's these crowds and people cheering, and I don't know. I don't think he owed anybody anything other than obvious tip the employees.
And we've talked about this before, like tip the employees, but this is coming from the outside company. So what do you tip? Who do you tip the slot thing, the whole thing going on? But I think I'd be, me, if it's a party atmosphere and I just won $1 million, heck yeah, I'm going out to dinner. I'm going to blow 15, 20 grand on anybody that's there. Let's go have pop some bottles and have some dinner, have a good old time. I think that would just be how the night gets started. You're going to have some fun with that money.
How much in comps do you think these slot channels have when they're gambling these level of money? I mean, the comp levels have to be just insane and pretty much unlimited points and whatever they want.
So you could even do it that way where you just, cash out your comps or whatever. And I hope there's some, I mean, I don't really watch the slot channels, but I hope there's some people out there that show that, like show their win and loss. I know Josh and Rachel do that. They show their wins and losses at the end of the year, but I hope some of the bigger ones do that and then show maybe what the comps they've earned and include all that and free night. That's such the interesting stuff to me, is to see the breakdown of all the numbers, but I know that's time consuming to calculate.
Yeah, and some of the bigger channels have relationships with the casinos. So there's, other stuff, I don't know. So not all of them do. Hopefully the ones that do disclose it, but there's other business relationships that happen on the marketing side of all this. So it's, quite an interesting thing. But congratulations to him on winning $1 million. That's not fake. They don't give slot channels fake jackpots. I can tell you that for sure. So he won that, and congratulations to him. We may finally be getting that Resorts World pedestrian bridge, although I don't think it's the one that I wanted. I thought that they could come up with a pedestrian bridge that linked Resorts World, Fontainebleau, and maybe even Circus in some way, but Resorts World is moving forward with plans with the county to build a pedestrian bridge right across Las Vegas Boulevard, basically at their main entrance at Convention Center Drive. This is closer to Wynn and Encore. It's needed because it takes forever for those lights to change, and you don't need that many pedestrians crossing Las Vegas Boulevard.
Yeah, as the area gets, built up down there and busier, they definitely need it. Probably need a couple of them. It's kind of nerve-wracking crossing Las Vegas Boulevard and doing all that, just on the regular street when you're so used to these pedestrian bridges. Should help with traffic, should help with safety, especially like late into the night when they've been drinking and, maybe they're stumbling over, they want to go grab some tacos or they want to go check out Wynn, Encore, all that stuff. And this gets them out of the line of fire, essentially. So I think that this probably should have been done earlier. We've talked about like the bridge between Bally's and Paris. Like that should have been the first step of this whole process. I feel like they should have built these pedestrian bridges as Resorts World was going up, have it ready to go. But hey, things move slowly.
And if you remember last year or maybe a year and a half ago, we talked about the proposed bridge at Sahara, that circular bridge that's going to connect all four corners with a big circle over it. That we haven't heard anything else about since they announced it. So that's something that's supposed to be coming too. And as you said, definitely needed in both these spots. The more bridges, the better. Get the pedestrians off the street. It's always safer for everybody, better for traffic, and good to see them moving forward. I think it's always just a matter of money, Mark. Who's going to pay for it? They got to negotiate the private versus the public and all that stuff.
Casinos should really chip in and build these things because it only helps them get traffic to their doorstep. It helps keep their customers safe. So I feel like it is something that they should chip in and build themselves. I feel like I'd want to build it, like let's get these people over here. Let's get them moving back and forth and all that stuff. Like it only benefits me.
So Mark, I wanted to talk at the end. I had this thought this week. Fontainebleau just opened in December. MGM Grand just celebrated its 30th anniversary. And there's been a lot of casinos on the Strip that open in December or right around this time of year, because it's usually a slower time, I suppose. But you wouldn't think you'd have so many new properties coming online right around the holidays, but they had. So I went back and sort of looked at the list of December-ish birthdays on the Strip and kind of thought it would be interesting to go over the list.
Yeah, it is kind of unique. You think you'd want to open with a bang, but it does make sense. Slower period, work through your growing pains, help with service, help with training, all that stuff. So December makes a lot of sense. I think, didn't Circa open? Was it late November or was it early December?
I think it was December sometime. I just went into the Strip ones. There are other ones that have opened in December. So let's start with Flamingo was the first one. December 26th, the day after Christmas, 1946. And then the next one, Horseshoe, your beloved Bally's / the old MGM Grand, December 5th, 1973. And then Mirage, November 22nd. I'll consider that December, 1989. And then MGM Grand, we'll stop there for now. 30 years ago, December 18th, 1993. But that was the old days. It seems like after that, we supercharged December, and there were a ton of openings that we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Flamingo doesn't feel like it's that old. Like that you hear 40s. That's kind of crazy with how the property looks. I mean, it's a little bit worn, but it's still, fun place and decent vibes and all that. And you just don't think that, okay, 40s. And then the day after Christmas, that's kind of crazy too. Getting people, hey, you had fun with your family. Now let's get to work.
That's the mob for you. But as you know, Mark, we've talked about it before. There is not a part of the Flamingo that dates back to the 1940s, unfortunately. I think the oldest building is from the 70s. So it's more of that Bally's Horseshoe era property, even though it dates back before that because they took out all the bungalows, the original casino, everything else. But yeah, MGM Grand, that was a huge opening in 1993. We talked about Barbra Streisand was the headliner for New Year's Eve. And you had the MGM Grand Adventures theme park. That same year, just a couple months earlier, you had Luxor and Treasure Island open. So MGM Grand's opening, I think, was truly kind of spectacular because it was full family-friendly Vegas coming at you in the 90s. And all at once, 3 big casinos opening within just a few months, including this massive theme park at MGM Grand.
Yeah, and they all were kind of the heyday of theming and, over the top and just drawing people in. And that's something we've talked about lots of shows where we feel like they're missing now. Everybody's, Cosmo and Aria did really good at launch, kind of breaking away from that mold. And so everybody jumped on that train for the next, decade or two, and it just wants to stick with that. And we're getting more and more away from theming. So, back to the heyday of what we missed. So now maybe it'll transition to something like that. I don't know. I think you can keep the rooms modern and the property themed. I think that's the way to go. That's the good mixture. So hopefully we see a bit of that. But yeah, the 90s, man, family time.
Yeah, and that continued with New York opening January 3rd, 1997. So just a little bit into January. And then you had Palazzo, Encore, City Center, Cosmo, and now Fontainebleau all open in December over the last 15 years. And then if you go outside of that, you look at like October-ish, you see a ton more properties that have opened in the last few months of the year. So it just seems to be that's the time of year that they want to open Vegas casinos. December is a big month for casino openings in Vegas.
You know who didn't do it then?
No, who?
Virgin.
That's true. They didn't, and they are suffering for it, as we talked about on the last show. So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about. December casino birthdays, are any of those your favorites? Do you like coming here in the slower time of the winter? Barry Manilow on the side of Westgate, getting married on New Year's Eve. Everything we talked about, hit us up in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. I hope my voice will be better by then. Thanks for dealing with that, and I hope you had a great Christmas and have a great holiday week here. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody. See you on Friday. Yeah, or you could just do like Succession, like 1, 2, 2, 4. No, that won't work. It's gonna be the same for a while. You're gonna have to cut all that out. It's just stupid.